Yo people, LSM here. This time I'll be talking about Sinon. She's the new limited character that we got with Anniversary 2. I gave some time for her video because I wanted people to test her on single target Decrepit Dream to see how good she was there, and the results will not disappoint us. So let's start with Sinon. The game says that Sinon is a area damage character, but she's actually a single target monster. But first, her exclusive talent. We have Sniper of Ice. Sinon will get 1 stack of Sniper of Ice every round. For each stack, her Climax Skill gets a damage rate, this is important, that caps out at 2% on level 100. Max is 7 stacks. And after moving, Sinon will generate 1 Climax point. This is a very strong exclusive talent just by the effect of generating Climax point. But the Climax boost is the cherry on the top. Next, let's take a look at Sinon's stats. We have here that Sinon have 2016 attack, so just like any year 2 character, she breaks the 2000 barrier. Her speed is also very good at 450, which makes that she can be very versatile on thin compositions. Now for her skills. Here we have a 0 skill point, front damage. The damage value is low, and it's a damage split skill. If I'm not mistaken, the front enemy gets the most of the damage, but it's a damage split, so it goes on area damage. If the enemy is alone, this skill gets a damage boost that is high, but let's be honest, with this low multiplier, the damage will not be impressive. Next one we have skill 2, 3 skill point, frail for the here enemy. It has the same value of any normal 3 skill point frail that we can find. The only difference is that the frail that Sinon gives is yellow, so it doesn't trigger Muramasa and cannot be dispelled. Next we have her Climax Skill, and this is where her magic happens. It's a 8 Climax point, damage split, so it starts on AoE and goes to single target if there is only one enemy. The damage multiplier is low for a 8 Climax point, but let's read the rest. So, if the enemy is alone, Sinon will get a 14% damage boost for this Climax skill. It's quite huge. Next, for every time that Sinon uses her Climax skill, she gets a buff that increases this number here by 15%, Climax damage rate by 15%, which is quite big, and this stacks up to 3 times. So after 3 times, Sinon's Climax is basically at max damage. Next, she gets Axial Heartbeat. It's a debuff sadly that increases her Climax cost by 2, max of 6 stacks, not 6 costs, 6 stacks. So 2 times 6 is 12 cost increase, where her Climax is the first 20 Climax costs in the game. Kinda funny, right? Before proceeding, I need to talk about Sinon's numbers right here, so I will use a calculator to demonstrate her numbers. I will be using Sinon's Climax without her exclusive talent to make it simpler, okay? So I have the value of her base damage, and the first Climax will get a 15% Climax rate boost because of how her Climax works. So her first Climax is a 8 Climax point that have 512% damage. It's quite low, but remember that she gets a damage boost of 14% if the enemy is alone. So she has a 10 Climax point multiplier with a 8 Climax point. Next, we have Sinon's second Climax use. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong button here. This time I'll do it right, so I want the percentage. So for the second Climax skill, Sinon's got a considerable boost for her previous one, and if the enemy is alone, she have a very big number here. This is closer to almost 12 climax point damage split. So for 10 climax points, she have almost like a 12 climax point single target. And for the last one, wrong button. We have here 14%. So we have 604. And if the enemy is alone, she have 915% damage on a 12 climax point use. So she have quite the decent numbers. The problem here is that her 14% damage boost that she gets, it's a damage modifier, so it doesn't scale that well with other buffs, but it's not bad. It also can be boosted by Bride Kuryokihime's Elementium. Now I will show the max damage that she can get with her exclusive talent. So we have here the base damage, 45 for 3 times use, and round 7 of her exclusive talent we will get 49. So she have almost the same damage base as of 10% climax skills, plus she gets a damage boost by herself, so she have 1000% damage on her climax skill at round 7, which is insane in my opinion. Very strong climax skill. After everything that I talked about Sinons, you may be thinking by yourself, well, Sam, she sure have a very strong climax, but does it matter if I don't have Ouroboros to use her climax skill every round? And for that I have to say that you'll be surprised. So for that surprise to happen, let's take a look at Sinon's beautiful skill animations. Starting with skill 1, 0 skill point, front damage. The enemy is alone, but it's a damage split. Next we have her skill 2. Now for her skill 2, 3 skill point here, and it's a frail. She shoots with a Glock and then her sniper, and as we can see here, it's a yellow frail, so it doesn't trigger Muramasa as it didn't shine, and lasts for 1 round. Also it cannot be purified, and I think this is a unique icon for Sinons. I don't think any other character can get this icon debuff on the enemy. Now for Sinon's climax skill, 8 climax points. I have Muramasa. It has the best skill animation in the entire game. So let's take a look at her buffs. As we can see here, continuous snipe, the climax damage rate that she gets, it applies before damage. Axial heartbeat increases her climax cost. Cat mouse, the buff that she gets for the enemy being alone for her climax skill. So let's go to the next round. First let me just use some CP here. Okay. So Sinon's turn, and she have her climax back. So for some reason devs doesn't put on her kit, but Sinon have infinite climax use. This is why that all of her exclusive talent and climax says that she gets buffs of the amount of time she climax, and you would think without Ouroboros she is basically useless, but no, by herself she can use her climax an infinite amount of time. As you can see here, Kimono Asuna is with Ouroboros. I don't have Jarn up here, so I couldn't have used it to refresh her climax skill. The climax is now 10, and will do more damage. I will never get bored from this. Such a nice climax skill. As we can see here, the cost now will be increased by 4, and she have 2 stacks of continuous snipe. So yeah, Sinon infinite climax use, okay? Very cool, right? Now for Sinon's cross skills, she only have 2, and at least she doesn't need any limited character to cross. So first we have with Kirito, 5 skill point, front damage, have the centered multiplier of a front single target skill. And as I said, for many other characters that use Kirito support as a partner for cross, if your skill is not like Alice, where she gets a flat 1000 attack buff, this skill damage sucks. Next one we have Kuroneko cross skill. It's a 6 skill point, damage split. So it's a added skill that becomes single target when there is one enemy. It's the second 6 skill point skill that we have that is actually single target. The first one being dual bait Kirito with Ogeo. You remember that weak skill, right? And this one is kinda strong. It has a higher damage multiplier than a 5 skill point, but not the highest that it should be because the damage is split. And when there is only one enemy in the field, the skill gets a damage boost to be even better. So let's see their skill animation because oh boy. So Kirito cross skill. First I need to apologize because my Kirito is not maxed out. He doesn't even have talents. So the damage will be very low. You can see that this is not the max damage that he can get. If I'm not mistaken, it goes to 390, and mine doesn't reach that because he's lacking some stars. But still, skill animation is what matters. Yeah, very nice animation. Okay, next cross. Now for Kuroneko cross, I will use it 2 times. First one being area damage, next one being single target because of the buff that she gets. Using Mikoto here in hopes to get a better crit rate so that I don't have to try this a bunch of times for perfect crits. So let's see this animation. Yeah, I said some crits, but I hope that they are that important. Okay, single target version. Here we are, single target. Same buffs as before. Let's see. Yeah, she got an icon here. Hard to measure the damage when she misses crits, but I could see that she got the damage icon, boost icon when using her skill. Now let's talk about Sinon's Awakens, and like your 2 characters, they are kinda strong. So first of all, Awaken 1, her exclusive talent gives 2 climax points after taking action. So after she moves, 2 climax points instead of 1. Very strong buff. Awaken 3. Her climax skill cost will increase only 1 at a time instead of 2. So the max cost instead of 12 will be 14. And Awaken 5, she gets a buff that increases her climax damage rate by 15.30%. So it's like another stack of her climax buff that she gets, only 3. It's basically another stack. So it makes her climax skill way stronger than it should be. And those are her awakens, they are all very strong. You want at least Awaken 3 if you plan to use Sinon's. Awaken 1 makes her a very good battery, mostly for TBK meme purpose, but very good battery. Awaken 3 if you want to use her as DPS with Climax Span, and awaken 5 if we want full damage. Next we have her Psyche. She has 2, the old one with Asuna and the other characters, Suna, Yuki and Kirito. The only good stat here is the attack, but it's very low. And with her coming, we got a second Psyche. This one with the Sao Gang, so many people get this Psyche, and it's very strong. 4% crit damage, 15% attack. At least this should be a damage up, but it's okay. It's a good Psyche, but the one that got boosted by its Psyche more was Alice, because her Alice Psyche was terrible. So as you can see, I am using on Alice instead of Sinon because Alice is Alice. Next one, I need to talk about Sinon's exclusive equipment. Yeah, she got one. And it's a good one, so let's go full to the right. And you can find here Hikate, Glock 18, Tactical Glove, Cold Scarf. The bonus effect is a crit damage increase by 17%. It's very good because it's more damage and every round with a higher multiplier than other things, and works on her Climax Skill. So it's a very good equip to use on her. The only problem is that you need to crit for it to work, but the meta is all about critting anyway, so it's a very strong piece of equipment. I talked about everything that I normally do about characters, but now I need to increase this part here because she is part of a new meta single target thing for the Crap Dream. So the thing is the following one. We have Sinon with Milk Sport because she's the best statistic. Then we have Bride with Haruyuki because of Bride's Elementium. She can buff Sinon's buffs. And the last, like every other meta thing, we have Kamineko. And unlike many other things, we have Kojo here. So this is the thing, and for impressive weapon we don't use Ouroboros, we will be using Shivari. Bride here have Ming, and Kemi Kojo have those two, yeah, Moral Tech and Mimi. And the reason for that is very simple. Bride's Elementium buffs all buffs in the game. She makes all buffs stronger. Sinon's kit is full of buffs that can be buffed by Bride. Milk is the best statistic, and the buff that she gets from Elementium is also boosted by Bride. And since Sinon can Climax Pen without Ouroboros, and it's a battery of Climax Point, we have 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. We have 4 Climax Points every round, and with Mimi we can trade for some SP generation or more Climax Point in the rotation. I don't know what the exact rotation is, so I will not elaborate on that. And the reason that Shivari is here, most don't have this one or didn't even bother to hit it. So for every 20% HP lost in your turn, the equipped character will get a damage boost. For higher awaken, it's quite strong. Let's go here. We have here a 5.18% damage boost for awaken 5, and she maxes at 12 stacks. So we have a 69% damage boost, if I'm not mistaken. That is buffed by Bride. So just here, Sinons have 100% more damage for her kit, which is incredibly powerful. And this is the thing that this meta is better than Tenshi Yuki. It's expensive as fuck, and uses an impressive weapon that many probably don't even have built because it was very bad before Sinon came. So this is a meta for those that can afford with everything that I have here. But even without the meta 10, my opinion on Sinon doesn't change. Sinon is a good character to have because she is unique, being a character that can use her climax an infinite amount of time. Even if you are a new player, this is extremely valuable to have. It allows you to use some very aggressive strategies progressing through story, because you can always resort to climax spamming with Sinon. Not only that, well, she agreed with me, so I must be saying the truth. Not only that, her exclusive talent being a climax battery also helps with many rotations that you can do for climax nuking. Nowadays that we have Kojo support to use, climax nuking is something even more common than before. Most of the time is more viable than doing skill point damage. Not only that, if you ever want to awaken her, she gets a nice boost on awaken 1. And that's it, people. My opinion on Sinon is that she's a good character that you could get because she does something unique and it's good at it. Even if her buff scaling is not that strong for endgame players that don't have her full build, the fact that she can hard buff herself by absurd amounts without any help is very good to have, a very strong option. And that's it, people. Well, something is not working anymore here. I wish you luck if you are pulling for Sinon. If you are pulled for her, I hope that you are liking how she plays and her skills animations are sick. Good luck, have fun.